अगर आप एक ऐसी ग्राफिक्स को यूज़ कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, जो इतनी अपीलिंग या इतनी आप कहेंगे डिसेंट या प्रोफेशनल नहीं है, तो मैं अगर अपनी चॉइस बताऊं तो मैं क्या करूंगा कि मैं समझूंगा कि ये जो स्टार्टअप के फाउंडर्स हैं, ये स्टार्टअप ही नॉन सीरियस है। तो आपने अपनी सारी प्रोफेशनलिज्म, सीरियसनेस और क्रेडिबिलिटी जो है वो इन चीज़ों पे लगानी है। जब आप एक क्रेडिबल बन जाएंगे, आपकी क्रेडिबिलिटी बन जाएगी, देन आपको इतना एफर्ट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी। आपकी जो रिटर्न और इन्वेस्टमेंट जो है वो खुद ब खुद फ्लो करती रहेगी, ठीक है। सो ये एक टिप है जो डेफिनेटली आपको ज़रूर हेल्प करेगी कि क्रेडिबिलिटी पे आपने करना है और सेल्फ एवेल्यूएशन पे आप अपना 3 मंथ का एजेंडा बनाएं। आप देखें आपका 3 मंथ में स्टार्टअप यहाँ था, नेक्स्ट 3 मंथ में आपने कितना ग्रो किया। एक सच एज एनालिटिक्स, अगर आप डाउन जा रहे हैं तो डेफिनेटली यू हैव टू वर्क हार्ड, और अगर आपका आप कहें कि एनालिटिक्स ग्राफ जो है वो हाई है तो आप जो है वो उसको उस पर आप अप्रिशिएट करें और मेहनत करें, ठीक है, स्ट्रेटजीज सोचें। और मीनवाइल कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपके 2 या 3 या 4 ईयर्स हो गए तो आप ईयर्सली जो है वो उसको सेल्फ एवेलुएट करें। सो ये 2 चीज़ें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, जब करेंगे तो खुद आपका इंशाल्लाह स्टार्टअप जो है वो करेगा। और यू आर द फ्यूचर ऑफ पाकिस्तान, बड़ा अच्छा लगता है जब यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स जो हैं वो इन चीज़ों में आ रहे हैं। सो दिस इज़ द फ्यूचर। आप लोग बहुत लोगों को जो है वो मोटिवेट भी कर रहे हैं, तो इंशाल्लाह। Okay, so if anyone talks about their startups, so we would like to be happy. कोई भी प्रोडक्ट अभी फेज में है, सेल कर रहे हैं या लॉन्च हो गई है, एनीवन? ओके,
Hello? Yeah. Test focus.
डेफिनेटली डेफिनेटली थिंक लाइक ग्लोबली, लाइक बिल्कुल आप ये नहीं कि सिर्फ पाकिस्तान के मार्केट को कैप्चर करें। यू आजकल ऑनलाइन ई कॉमर्स का टाइम है, सो यू थिंक ग्लोबली। अब आपने ग्लोबल कंपनीज को कम्पीट करना है, तो जब आप उनके लेवल का सोचेंगे तो एटलीस्ट आप जो हैं वो कुछ अच्छा करेंगे। लेकिन अगर आप बिल्कुल ही नीचे सोचेंगे तो वो थोड़ा ग्राफ बहुत नीचे है। सो आपके बिज़नेस में जो है वो बिज़नेस डेवलपमेंट इज़ मेन प्रॉब्लम, तो आपने उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस होना है। नॉर्मली क्या होता है कि हम इंजीनियर्स या टेक्निकली लोग जो होते हैं बिज़नेस डोमेन में बड़े वीक होते हैं, तो बिज़नेस डेवलपमेंट ही बैकबोन है। बिज़नेस डेवलपमेंट है तो बिज़नेस चल रहा है, बिज़नेस डेवलपमेंट है तो मार्केटिंग भी है, HR भी है, फाउंडर भी है, CEO भी है। तो अगर बिज़नेस डेवलपमेंट नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है। लाइक टेक्निकली समटाइम्स क्या होता है कि प्रोजेक्ट बनाना इजी होता है, और हेल्थ केयर में तो AI और डेटा साइंस में आई गेस 60% काम हो रहा है। हमने बहुत सारे UK के हॉस्पिटल के साथ काम किया है जिसमें हमने ऑटोमेटिकली उनकी कैंसर्स की डिटेक्शंस और इन सब चीज़ों को किया। लेकिन मेन जो इसमें हर्डल है वो बिज़नेस डेवलपमेंट है, कि अभी क्या है कि उतनी अवेयरनेस नहीं है। तो आपने हमेशा अपनी प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करने से पहले उस चीज़ की अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करनी है, उसके यूज़ केसेस लोगों को बताने हैं, ठीक है। सो ये एक मेन चीज़ है जो आप इंशाल्लाह इस पर फोकस करें। इंशाल्लाह डेफिनेटली इनिशिएटिव होता है। अब वो सक्सेसफुल होता है या नहीं होता है, ये एक डिफरेंट डिबेट है, हमें और बिल्कुल सोचना नहीं चाहिए। लेकिन हमारा काम है कि एफर्ट्स करना, सो यू हैव टू डू कंप्लीट एफर्ट। तो एटलीस्ट इनिशिएटिव लेना भी बहुत बड़ी बात है। बहुत सारे लोग होंगे सिर्फ अभी सोच ही रहे होंगे, लेकिन आप लोगों ने इनिशिएटिव लिया, सो इट्स अ बिग विन। सो इंशाल्लाह। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Okay, just test. Okay, is my voice clear? Okay, great. So before we introduce the presentation, first I'd like to give a small introduction about myself. My name is Ammar Jamshed, and I've been employed with AI DataYard for around 7 months now. And I work as a business intelligence trainer as well as a consultant for their products, events, and workshops. And I spend more time with AI DataYard than I do at home because it's remote jobs, and my family is now angry that is Musa your family or are we your family? And yeah, Musa is a visionary leader, and I hope that more leaders also emerge like him who think about the betterment of this country. Yeah. Okay. And this presentation looks a bit cartoonistic, right? We just wanted to make it more appealing, but it's nothing fancy like Disney, okay? No, okay, disappointment on that, but okay. Okay, so so as AI DataYard, basically, we look at introduction to data analytics, importance of data, data use cases for businesses, and data-driven startups, and enabling data ecosystems. We plan on covering that basically for all our, sorry about that. So basically, this is what we want to cover in today's workshop training. So these are the 5 points we will be looking at. But other than that, if any of you want me to cover or want me to explain anything extra, I'm more than happy to do so, okay? Okay, about AI DataYard, I'm sure Musa gave already a very detailed understanding of what AI DataYard is, but I'll also give you my perspective as well. So basically, we do train professionals all over the world, not just in Pakistan. But our main aim is that all the knowledge of data analytics and advanced technologies used in the global market, we want to bring them to Pakistan as well. Because I'm sure all of you already know, Pakistan is very behind in technological processes, and we need to update ourselves, and it's a long way towards there. But with more initiatives towards analytics and startups like AI DataYard and multiple other providers in Pakistan, we're hoping towards getting there within coming years. Okay? So what do you know about data? Anyone wants to answer that? What is data? Any answer will do. No. No. Yeah, okay. So basically all of your answers are correct. But if I would want to add a bit more like basically detail to that, so data can be basically anything, as all of you said, different answers. Even before Excel tables or computers were made, data was still being used. Like, before we had maps drawn or even GPS, we humans used to use the sky as maps to detect where oases are, because you all know where the North Star is in deserts, that's where oases are also present. And we were able, and the entire constellations you look like Leo, Libra, even though I personally don't believe in any of this, but each to their own. But actually these constellations are also a form of data. We mark these constellations as memory of events of when they happen, because we always know that an earthquake happens or a tsunami happens when the constellation is a Libra, and that's how we define you were born in this turbulent month, so you are basically a turbulent person. It's a random association we made with events which is unrelated, but we as humans sometimes can think irrationally. Okay, so what is data analytics? Analyzing data for business insights, yes. So if you want to analyze an Excel table, a CSV basically is comma separated values, okay? Or any form of data set. Our main goal is that we find out insights for our businesses. Okay, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing correct? Sales forecasting is just one example of that. There are many other solutions globally that is already taking place. And like all of you who have studied economics, maths, or even statistics, you've seen X and Y curves, right? So the world is more than just an X and Y curve. We even have like 3-dimensional models over here that basically can be X, Y, Z. We even have 4-dimensional models now, because data is becoming more and more complex with humans, because data is after all a generated byproduct of our activity. Yeah, and improve business planning with new information generated from data, yes. Because sometimes when we want to launch a new product, we have to test, right, if the market is right for this or not. We have to test what? Consumer sentiments, consumer income groups. Example, like let's say you want to launch a Lamborghini auto shop in Sialkot. Is that a good idea? Or in Sakkar? Will the income group support that? It's not a straightforward no. Some areas of Sialkot do have the money to buy Lamborghinis, like all your footballs from FIFA are made in Sialkot. And all your surgical instruments, they're also manufactured there, which are exported globally. So yes, Until we have the right data and the right answer, we cannot make conclusions. That's what data is all about. So we avoid giving generalized answers. Okay, hey, he can't do this, he can't do that. We have to explore first with data. Use effective technologies like sensors, social media activity, and satellite feeds. Okay, sensors. Since we are over here in an aerospace incubation center, all planes have sensors, do they not? That guide you about the weather activity, the longitude, the latitude, and the distance from your current location to the location you want to get to. So that's a form of data, right? And if, let's say, the sensor goes wrong and tells you, hey, land in zone Z instead of zone X, what can happen? Yes, a crash can happen. So data is very important, right, in all our daily lives. It can also decide our fates, end of the day. Yeah, and launch new products with new ideas about consumer trends. This is actually one popular example. You can even look it up on Google if you want. MasterCard once employed a very good data strategy. Back in the early 2000s when analytics was still in its very early stages and no one knew about it. They basically constructed a 4-dimensional visualization, you know, like person's age, income capacity, and a person's years, and even their location. And they marked their location as blue, red, and black based on their income groups. And when they made the entire analysis with these 4 features, they then approached the right customers to go to. And their profits increased 2000% the next year as a result of that. So that's how the right data can give you right results as well. But there's one thing you've all heard of. Have you ever heard of this term, GECO? It basically stands for garbage in, garbage out. Yeah. So basically, your data has to be clean and available for analysis, and properly, all the errors have to be checked before you can use it. Otherwise, wrong data can give you wrong answers. And airplane crashes are the first example of that. The wrong data can give you the wrong answers. And businesses are also like ships. They can sink with the wrong data. Okay? Narrow down an existing problem. So if there's a problem in the business, right, you have to look at the proper data to evaluate it. Example, if employees are very unproductive because you say, okay, let's increase their wages by 20%. And you think they'll just be productive that way? And let's say you increase it by 200%, they might become productive then. But also that's not the solution, because if possible employees can be just doing the same amount of work on even existing wages, and they'll be doing the same work if you increase it by 200%. They'll be like, hey, they'll keep increasing our wages, so let's just not do anything and do the same thing as always. So an entire study has to be done before you make any decision. And I have plenty of examples which I will not quote because I don't want people coming after me telling me that you were a snitch. Okay? So research on anomalies within data trends. All of you know what anomalies are, right? Right? Yes. Outliers are one way of defining it, but anomaly basically means something very different from the regular trend. So example, if you have prices between the range of 10 to 20 and you have a price for one product which is within the range of 90 to 100, that's an anomaly. It's beyond all other data points. But you know, usual practices by data analysts are these. Okay, let's just clean out the anomalies because they dilute our analysis. But that's not always good practice, right? Example, if you have 10 events which are, if you have a startup, so startups mostly start on losses, we all know that, right? So if one event or 1 year is certain, suddenly you have a profit, right? You would want to explore why is that the case, right? Or will you just dispute it like an anomaly? Yeah, so anomalies are important depending on the case. So main thing is the business knowledge. Without a business knowledge, data is useless. Okay, data can be generated from these technologies. Sensors from drones, we all know, right, what sensors are. Transmitters and antennas from aircrafts, they're generating all the data the pilots use in the cockpit. Okay, website activity from users, or everything you're doing on websites, buying and selling, even Amazon, Daraz, it's all data being generated on their back end. And user activity from applications, yep, everything we're using even on Food Panda, it's data being stored on their end as well. And they use it to make decisions about what foods you like, what you don't like. And point of sale systems, like all of you who buy supermarket products, everyone I'm sure does. We always go to the cashier counter, they also have point of sale systems installed there, that which products are more in demand, they make data analysis from those data collected on the cashier still. So yeah, data is important and is present all around us. And these are 3 types of data in businesses. First is structured, Excel sheet, CSV, which I'm sure all of you have worked with Excel sheets or Google Sheets for that account. That's just one example of data, it's tabular, meaning in table form. And table form means data in the form of rows and columns, right? And unstructured data can be images, videos, documents. And why I call it unstructured data is because This data, if you example just store it on a computer पहले image में कहीं note कर सके बता सकता है क्या है. अगर आप कंप्यूटर को ये प्रोग्राम के थ्रू भी बताएंगे कि एनालाइज करके बताओ, वो बस ये बोलेगा फाइल 1, फाइल 2, फाइल 3, बिकॉज इमेजेस को एक ग्लांस में तो नहीं एनालाइज कर सकता कि इसके नंबर्स इसमें तो कुछ है ही नहीं. तो आपको प्रॉपर डिकोड करना पड़ता है इस फाइल को, कन्वर्ट करना पड़ता है एक दूसरे फॉर्मेट में इमेजेस को in order to analyze them, because it can analyze images by pixels, by width, by length, but it cannot analyze images just by what they are. You have to program it to do so. That's why it's unstructured. And semi-structured is basically social media, satellite live data. It is structured, but to a small extent. You also have to decode the computer to understand and analyze activity from social media pages. It's not like you can screenshot a social media page and analyze it. You have to first convert it into a list of posts, list of users, or even basically what the social media post contains. You put it like that. You can even go into these playgrounds of Twitter, Facebook. They are available for public access as well, if you ever want to analyze data from them. Okay, why is data analytics important for startup? Team performance, we all want to know which employees are doing better, which ones are doing less better, so we decide how to improve the overall team based on that. It's not that by just keep the best, lose the rest. It's not that way. We want to improve overall team, because investing in employees is also an investment, right? You don't want to lose that immediately because it's a cost as well. And improve digital infrastructure for businesses at hand, because example, when you have the proper data showing the right amount of sales, revenue, or even costs, you then want to improve the business based on that, right? It's not like we just made a website this year, we make an application next year. You have to first check the feasibility from the data. Are the number of users on the website enough? Is the revenue being generated from the business enough to even to make it feasible to build an application in the first place? Otherwise, you become a loss-making business immediately. You directly go without analysis. And make better decision-making processes. Yes, data for decision-making, right? Better data, better decisions. And we highlighted some examples already in previous slides. And digital products and services of the business. So yes, businesses who sell online, Amazon, Daraz, even Food Panda, data, they cannot survive without data. Data is the fuel of the business. If there is no data, there can be no business, right? Because if they don't have your data, they don't know where you live, where to deliver your food, what foods you like, if they don't have it. Accessibility of their business for remote clients and consumers. So, if you're basically an online business and you have clients outside Pakistan, and Upwork and Fiverr are one example of those mediums now. So, if you have proper data of those clients, right, what these clients do, what are they willing to pay you, and what is their overall business activity, then you can only do business, right? If you do not know anything about what the client does in a proper numerical format, you cannot do business with them. Because clients only want to work with those people who they have to explain the least to, because they want to save up time. Over here, currency is the cost. Abroad, it's time. Time is the biggest cost for everyone. Accessibility, yeah, that's done now. And now, what uses does data have? Sales forecasting. I'm sure everyone or at least has experimented with sales forecasting or seen what's done. It's basically forecasting what your sales will be for the next 7-8 months. Mostly though they are not accurate at all, because events can happen at any time, leading to downfalls of sales. Okay, example, let's say that today you made a sales of 50,000 rupees, and tomorrow a strike is declared all over the country, the sales will dip obviously. And these are not events we can foresee that will come. But what they help us is that we can plan accordingly. If our sales are going up from 50,000 to 60,000, we plan inventory in accordance with that. That's what we mainly use these forecasting models for. And marketing channel effectiveness. Of course, digital marketing is also becoming a huge phenomena and an increasing number of fields as well. So if only you know where products are being sold, where they are being stored, or where are they being placed through different channels like AdSense, and there are also many other platforms as well, then you can also market it to the consumers at the right time so they buy it. Example, if a consumer goes to the store with the knowledge of what your product is, he will buy it, right? If he comes out of the store and gets you the knowledge of your product, he's not going to buy it, or he or she, right? And agile analysis performance, I believe Musa already introduced you to this as well, that we are developing a people analytics course as well. It's all about this, that how you analyze employees, because when it comes to human behavior, which is a very complex thing, right? It's not just about data. It's about how people are. So basically what they do, what ethics they follow, what laws they follow, what regulations they follow, because all of it influences their behavior. It's not data alone that can be the answer to this. Okay? Now, what does data have? Operations, expansion inputs and processes. So basically with data, as we discussed, you can expand businesses, you can expand your operations, and if you're manufacturing something, basically for manufacturing businesses like Unilever, P&G, which manufacture their own products, you can decide which raw material is cheaper and which raw material gives you a better yield than the already existing one. Example with, I'm giving you one small example, like with one seed example, if you can grow 3 crops, and there are seeds you can also grow 10 crops with, you would automatically switch to that, right? And important questions, okay, now this is the most important one. So whenever you want to decide how to become a data-driven businesses, these are the 4 main questions that have to be addressed. Data generated from digital activity, and where is data generated from? If you're a website-based businesses, your data is from the websites. You have to build the pipelines and the computers, and you have to have the computers to store the data within. Because data can be in gigabytes, terabytes, even petabytes. So it can't be stored in one small machine, right? You need cloud services or even extra servers as well. And can data be maintained on existing? So let's say if you're a startup, you started a page on Instagram, then you can manage your data from just one click, even on a mobile phone. But as you start growing into a bigger business with extra thousands of clients, millions of clients, you have to also expand into an office. It's not possible to do all of that from home without your laptop going back at you, okay? So does the business understand? Okay, if the business understands the value of its data, like if you're a digital business and you know that your data is important for the users of your website, the users of your applications, and you want to explore their age, their gender, and what their consumer fashion and tastes are, then you will hire data analysts, data engineers to make the pipelines, data analysts to analyze it, and data scientists to build the right models and identify the right needs for the data. But if you are unaware of how the digital world works when it comes to data, you have to go to a consultancy first. It's not like you can hire the talent and your business will generate supernormal profits, no. You have to first get the right help to make you understand what the processes are. Example, if you want to hire a chef, right, so you need to have a kitchen for it, correct? Same goes with data scientists. You need to have a proper data infrastructure understanding before employing them. Otherwise, they'll be employed and they won't do anything because the business doesn't understand the data. And how can data analysis impact strategy? So if you want to expand into a new location and the data shows that there are not many consumers present in that location, it will impact your strategy, right? You will decide to go in another location. And these are a few data-driven startups. 𝐤𝐞𝐬𝐭, which is basically a transport-based startup. You can book basically a bike or even a rickshaw from the tip of your mobile phone, and it can come to your location immediately. And 𝐤𝐮𝐞𝐬𝐭 sells properties. We all know 𝐤𝐮𝐞𝐬𝐭, right? And then there's also 𝐬𝐻𝐿, another similar app like Food Panda, but it mainly deals with all trades of meat, basically, especially for Eid and all. It really makes money there. So basically, they all use analytics. 𝐤𝐻𝐿 uses it to identify the closest locations where they're getting the most customers. 𝐤𝐮𝐞𝐬𝐭 identify which properties they have the highest value and where they should actually place more marketing ads for. And 𝐬𝐻 identified farms where they could increase the produce for. They based on just their data. So that's why data is important for business. How should data analytics be implemented? Understanding the business domain we discussed why, understanding the use of data in businesses, and how it can improve the business currently, and identifying the digital points. So, as I identified, if you have a website, you need to know how the data can be extracted from the website. If you have an application, you need to know where the application can generate its data and how we can extract it into places like Google Analytics or even mainstream, or even like there's even Blaze and all. There are new applications that are made now that can extract the data. And even developing the data infrastructure in terms of servers and machines required, like I discussed. If you have the infrastructure, hire the analysts. If you don't, then take consultancy first. Okay, which talents? Data engineers, okay. They build the pipelines, okay. Example, अगर आपके पास एक Excel sheet पड़ी हुई है लैपटॉप में ना, और आपको चाहते हैं कि Excel sheet जहाँ से निकल रही है ना, for example एक application website से कि आपको बार-बार manually नहीं निकालना पड़ेगा. You just automatically build a pipeline to the application or the website, and it automatically gets generated on the computer at the relevant date and relevant time. Okay? And data scientists and analysts, as we discussed, they analyze the data and decide the business value of the data. Okay? So their job mainly can also be programming work, but analysts don't do much of programming as much of building dashboards and analyzing and extracting data. Data scientists mostly do research, and they also help machine learning models and machine learning engineers in developing the right machine learning models with the right data. Because if you don't have the right data, you don't have And domain experts, okay, this is the most important one. So if you're a business located in pharmacy, you need to have a person who understands the pharmaceutical industry and where the data can actually help the business. Because if you do not have the business knowledge of your solution, the solution won't work. Okay? And IT support, we all need relevant IT departments to help all the data people to ensure that we're receiving the data right. Without IT, there is no sustainability of the IT. Okay? Excel, Tableau, Power BI, SQL databases, cloud services. These are right now the most common tools for analytics. And Power BI and Excel, these are the ones we focus a lot on AI and DataYard in our training as well. Because Power BI and Excel are both Microsoft tools. And one can automatically give you visualizing data, and in Excel you can manually do all the visualizations. And in Power BI, mostly automated. And Tableau is the rival of Power BI. It's owned by Salesforce. It's the same as Coke and Pepsi. Power BI is owned by Microsoft and Tableau is owned by Salesforce. They're rival tools. So it depends on the business. If businesses prefer, a more fancy dashboard, they will go for Tableau. But if they prefer strong and powerful computing solutions, they go for Power BI. Because in Power BI, you can also build machine learning or integrate them with the dashboard. So it offers you those extra services. And SQL databases, basically those who have a lot of data that cannot be managed on Excel. So आप लोग already पता है Excel का big load डालेंगे Excel. So SQL databases उसके लिए होते हैं. तो millions of records of SQL में analyze कर सकते हैं जो Excel आप नहीं कर सकते. And cloud services like AWS, Azure, IBM Watson, these are all terms nowadays being used very heavily. So basically what they have done is कि वो सारे services solutions आपको एक platform पे दे दें. If you're a manufacturing business, you can find manufacturing solutions in the cloud services. If you're a pharmaceutical business, you can already find ready-made analytical solutions in AWS and Azure. Already it's built for you, you just have to use it. And you don't have to worry about storage and servers. It's all at Amazon and Google. They're giving you access virtually to their own servers to store your data and analyze it. But अगर आप चाहते हैं कि Google और Amazon आपका data नहीं देखें, तो फिर आपको अपना server लेना होगा. Okay, this is one example of a dashboard. Okay, it's based on HR employee data. It was made by one of the people we trained this year actually. His name was 𝐤𝐸𝐞𝐬𝐭, and he's basically in Uganda. He works in a telecommunication company, and he's in the planning department there. So he built this entire data set. We gave him a data set, and he built this whole Power BI dashboard. So you can see basically cost to interaction optimization by lead scoring by employee, and leads converted to cost trends, basically, and top campaign. This is basically a digital marketing dashboard actually. If you get the HR dashboard is the next one. Yeah. And look, GA conversion rate, cost per click, these are the formats we mostly follow with dashboard. The 4 boxes you see up there, click-through rate, daily impressions, these are basically the 4 business boxes that you have to show that give the full summary of the company. And then these dashboards show the trend, these big graphs below that. Okay, what's happening in your company. This shows the summary, this all shows what's happening. Okay, and top campaigns, which campaign is the best one. This is the one. So this is basically an HR employee dashboard. Average the amount of time, the total hours people are spending overtime in the company on average, which leads to the manipulation of the productivity. Number of departments the company has, number of total workers 35,000. I got it. Okay, and productivity achieved 73%. Okay. And department productivity, average target productivity, actual versus targeted. So we can see the whole summary by departments now. We can identify which department is doing the best, which one is doing worse. So we can give them a proper idea on how they should improve their performances. Otherwise, if you do this all manually in Excel, it could take months and weeks to figure it out. But all of this is done so easily in Power BI. Okay, and total overtime by department. So which department finance is spending the most overtime? Okay, they should be rewarded for it. No one should be working overtime like that. Okay? Okay, with that, we're done, and I think we have questions now. So everyone wants to ask me a question, please ask, and I'll also be showing